You think you're walking into a coffee shop to buy a $6 caffeine fix, but in reality, you just walked into one of the most successful, unregulated banks in the world. Right now, Starbucks is sitting on over $1.6 billion of customer money. To put that in perspective, that is more cash than 90% of the actual banks in the United States. Now, as a graduate in banking and insurance, I took a deep dive into their balance sheet, and what I found is a financial loophole so genius, it's almost sketchy. See, when you top up your Starbucks app, you aren't just buying coffee. You are giving a multi-billion-dollar corporation a 0% interest loan. Try asking a real bank for $1 billion loan at 0% interest. They'll laugh you out of the building. But Starbucks, they use your money to expand their empire, earn millions in investment interest, and they don't owe you a single penny in return. In this video, we're dissecting the Starbucks paradox. We're breaking down the interest-free loophole, the $200 million breakage trick, and their final pivot into global fintech. Put down the latte. It's time to see how a coffee shop became a financial powerhouse. To understand how this works, we have to look at a concept called liquidity. When you deposit money into a regular bank, that bank has to follow strict rules. They have to keep a certain percentage of that cash in a vault, and they have to pay for insurance to protect your money. But Starbucks, they aren't technically a bank, so they don't have those rules. When you load $50 onto your app, Starbucks gets that cash instantly. They don't put it in a vault. They put it to work. This is the ultimate float. They use your coffee money to buy real estate, build new stores, and invest in high-yield markets. In 2023 alone, Starbucks held over $1.6 billion in these customer-funded loans. The best part for them, they pay you 0% in interest. In a world where high-yield savings accounts are paying 4 or 5%, Starbucks is getting $1 billion loan for free. You get a digital star and a latte. They get a massive, interest-free capital fund to grow their empire. It is the most genius and most overlooked financial maneuver in the retail world. Think about that for a second. If Starbucks were a traditional bank, that $1.6 billion would make them larger than most regional banks in the country. But because they are a coffee company, they operate in what we call a shadow banking system. They don't have to report to the same regulators. They don't have to answer to the same audits. And most importantly, they don't have to provide you with a monthly statement showing your interest earned, because there isn't any. They've essentially crowdsourced their expansion. Instead of going to Wall Street for a loan, they went to you. And every time you auto-reload your app, you are signing off on their next multi-million-dollar real estate deal. It is the most successful, hidden banking operation on the planet. But why would a coffee giant want to act like a bank? The answer is simple: data and fees. When you swipe a credit card at a normal store, Starbucks has to pay a processing fee to companies like Visa or MasterCard. These fees might seem small, but on billions of transactions, they add up to hundreds of millions of dollars in lost profit. By building their own closed-loop payment system, Starbucks bypasses the banks entirely. They are essentially their own credit card processor. It is a masterclass in vertical integration, but it gets even deeper. They have created a currency that only works in their stores, backed by your interest-free loans. It is a brilliant, unregulated, and incredibly profitable machine. While real banks are struggling with high interest rates, Starbucks is growing their bank every time someone buys a holiday cup. They aren't just selling beans anymore. They are building a financial ecosystem that rivals major tech companies. So, the next time you top up your app for a caffeine fix, just remember, you aren't just a customer. You are a micro-investor in a billion-dollar shadow bank. If you want to see more insider finance secrets like this, hit the subscribe button. We are pulling back the curtain on the biggest corporations in the world. I'm your host, and this was Ink and Interest.